Hello. What say you, YouTube? What say you? What say you? Anyone who knows me, Rasher O'Reilly here at Rasher's Rants. I just thought I'd give it one of them. I don't know where that's going or if I even have a full license for it. But anyway, so Rasher O'Reilly at Rasher's Rants. I'm at home in the house now. And I say house, I mean hostelry. But I'm at home in the hostelry now. And I finally get to review this cheesesteak. For some reason, they didn't call it a Philly cheesesteak, even though the ingredients constitute a Philly. They didn't call it that. When I came home, I was kind of harangued by members of staff. It's like, oh, you have to sweep the floor in your room. It's like, no problem. I told you when I went out earlier today, when I get back, I will sweep the floor. You know, sand the floor. Anyway. I said I would do that, and he's like, yeah, but you said you'd be back at this time and that time. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, every time you ask me to do anything, I do it. Whether it's clean the room, change my bedclothes, do you know what I mean? Wash down the bathroom, disinfect the place. Do you know what I mean? Everything I get asked to do, I do. And he was very confrontational, and I'm a bit perplexed by it. But having said that, we can move forward to the Philly cheesesteak. So here we go, folks. Okay, so look at the presentation of this. Look at this. That's a professional bag. Like, look, you see it's got this little flap here. Oh, yeah, it's got this little flap here, which makes it much stronger on the carry. Yeah, way back burger. And I don't want you to go too far back, because then I can't eat you. But But here we go. Wait until you see the presentation box that this sandwich comes in. Look at that. Look at that. Did they have planning permission for this? Do you know what I mean? Was there a backhander given to on board Planola for this? I'm not going to give it a name. It's a cheesesteak. They didn't even dare call it Philly, so I'm skeptical, because a Philly is very specific. A ton of grilled onions, lots of melted cheese, like hopefully 50%, red cheddar, 50% American cheese. You know what I mean? Because you get the bubble and the whah at the same time. And obviously, like sirloin, you know what I mean? Or strip loin, you know what I mean? So here we go. Let's open the box. And don't worry, it's not a Dybbuk box, so nobody's going to get possessed. Here we go. Alright. Now, at first inspection, we know it is a Philly cheesesteak without even taking the lid off, because we can see melted cheese. We can see it's on a soft roll, very soft roll, okay? And if we just take off the lid here, so there's our bits of chopped up sirloin. It's still quite juicy. It has gone cold because I had a few things to do, as I said, but I'm still going to eat it and review it, and the temperature will not affect my scoring of said item. But I failed to see any onions anywhere, and I was very vocal about the onions. I'm just going to try a piece of this steak here. Hang on, bit of sirloin. That is good. Just as a standalone nibble, that was really good. But I cannot find any onions, and I was very, very vocal about, I hope there's onions. There must be onions. Surely there's onions. Why aren't there onions? If there aren't onions, I'm going to lay waste to this store. I didn't actually say the lay waste part, but I thought, for dramatic license. Anyway, so I'm as I do with all my food, because I am autistic. And to further explain why that plays into food, for me, I have to get food that is served to me, and I have to rebuild it into a format that pleases me more than the format in which it was given to me. Completely insane, I'm aware, but that's all right. That's all right. There were no small children or animals hurt in the making of this cheesesteak, so I think we're on good footing. So here, sorry, I am just rebuilding here. I know I'm going to eat that piece. Considering it's gone cold, the steak is still moist. and juicy. And yes, I can taste it from the sinew and all. Yeah, it's definitely sirloin. Okay, so I'm gonna do my usual thing here, and I promised people that I would stop over seasoning. One, because I'm not getting the true taste of the food, and two, because, well, my heart's going to explode if I keep inhaling sodium chloride at the fucking levels I am already. So hold on, bear with me for 1 second, folks. Now here we are. Alright. So just one pack of salt, alright? One pack of salt. Compared to my usual, anywhere between 5, 7, 9, 13, like, it, you know, I got to cut back on sodium chloride. And there are so many different types of salt as well, and all I have available to me is like deli packets of salt. I don't have a grinder with sea salt. I don't have kosher salt, you know what I mean? And low salt, one thing you will never see on my channel, and I'm unapologetic about this, YouTube. One thing you will never see on my channel is low salt. Do you know what I mean? Salt that is low in sodium. No. The taste comes from an overwhelming burst of sodium. It wakes up certain chemical compounds in the food itself. You know? So, low salt is a contradiction in terms, it makes things taste wrong. You know, there's an almost pharmaceutical taste of low salt because it's so hyper over processed to take out the sodium, which is what makes it salt. You know, it's sodium chloride. You know, you take out lots of the sodium, it's just chloride giving a baby sodium a kicking, and it doesn't taste right. Anyway, so here we are, we put the lid on this bad boy. And my only criticism here is that I've had Philly cheesesteaks, ironically never in Philadelphia, but I have had them in the States, I've had them in Europe, and this is the first one that looks like a reasonable facsimile that I've ever had in Ireland. And there's no light spread of mayo, or I was not offered hot sauce. Now, if it's going to be a proper Philly, and you're going to skimp on the cheese, which, you know, I think they kind of did a little bit of skimp on the cheese, you know what I'm saying? They skimped on the cheese. So, you know, there should be a sauce. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's little fucking sachets of hot sauce or mayonnaise or whatever your personal tickle is. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to tell you how to sauce things up. Everyone's got, you know, I mean, there's no accounting for taste. The love of my life is a devout worshipper of ranch dressing, which I've never actually had. I've had the European interpretation of ranch, but never actual ranch. So I can't actually say anything negative about it. I just know that it tends to go on everything, and I think there's a time and place for every sauce. Ranch doesn't have to be applied to everything just to enhance the flavour. The flavour should be good on its own. But this could do with some hot sauce, is what I'm saying. Wayback Burger, do you hear me? Do you hear me? Gotta have, you know what I mean? Gotta have some hot sauce there, you know? Just on standby. As my friend Davey would say about having beers on standby. Okay, so here's the taste test. Now, it is, look at it. It is a decent size sandwich, yeah. And, forget about it. But it is a decent size sandwich. And that's the only thing I can find wrong with it so far. I haven't been into it yet. I've done a lot of talking, you know, and no acting. And let's face it, if you're gonna have stones, if you're gonna have cojones, you know what I mean, if you're gonna have marbles, you gotta do the taste test. So here we are, folks. Hot sauce and mayonnaise free, nonetheless, Philly cheesesteak. Okay. Hands up in the air. I admit that just a little sprinkle of salt has actually done me a favour. Mm-hmm. Like, I can actually taste the flavour profiles of the meat a bit better because I haven't over seasoned. So this may be a turning point for me, this may not. We will see. Mmm. Wild sirloin is really good. And that cheese, that's pretty authentic. It's good. Like, it's basically borderline actual liquid, you know? So that means they've actually made their own cheese sauce in-house, and that goes a long way, you know? I watched a video recently of the best Philly cheesesteak in Philly, and they had like a kind of a melted down pot of gooey cheese. And it wasn't so gooey that there was a cheese pull every time you took the ladle out of the saucepan. But yeah, it was of a consistency mirroring this, is what I'm trying to say in my fucking infinite wisdom. Aha. Okay. Unanticipated upside. I was not expecting this to get better with every bite. And I'm not going to follow through with what I wanted to say there because let's face it, I don't want to get banned. Okay. So, it's advertised just as a cheese. Wow. Verbal diarrhea. That means I'm really having fun. Okay, so, it's false advertised as just a cheesesteak. It should be called a Philly, but update, I have still not ran into a single bit of onion. And I overemphasized, does it come with onion? Because if it does, I'll pay extra, just overload it. And this lovely Islamic lady nodded her head and, seemed to act like she was trying to portray the message of, I have no idea what you're saying to me, but I'm going to nod and smile because you're giving me money for food. So I don't know if the onion gate actually played out the way I wanted it to. Anyway, this is a really good cheesesteak, and I see why they don't call it a Philly now, because they did skimp on the onions, if there's any in there at all. Time will tell. But even though there's no sauce and the existence of onions within the sandwich is questionable, I would give this just takes careful consideration. I would give this a 7.62. 7.62. You won't hear a mark like that very often. Do you know what I mean? And there's good reason for that, but it's none of your business. Anyway, yeah, so here it is. Cheesesteak. You know? Ixnay on the Philly. Hang on. Another bite. It's actually getting better with every bite. Now I'm going to shut down this video now because I need some alone time with my Philly cheesesteak. That's not a Philly, just a cheesesteak. We need some alone time, you know. But yeah, I would recommend it. Highly recommend Wayback Burger in terms of the cheesesteak. Next time I go there, they have tater tots. They have regular tots. This is for the Americans out there, and possibly some Canadians who are well educated. But there's tots, there's regular tots, and there's Cajun tots. So that's got to be tried. There's O-rings, which again, any Americans in the know will know that O-rings is onion rings and fries in a basket together. Got to try that. There's a kids menu, which I think is awesome, and it's actually fairly priced because if you're, I don't know, an old school Irish Catholic mother, who might be single and you've got 27 kids, the kids menu is competitively priced, is what I'm saying at the end of the day. If I don't get struck off YouTube altogether for this video, it'll be a fucking miracle. But yeah, look, cheesesteak is legit. Alright, it is good. And as I said, I'm going to get romantic with it. I'm going to do things to it that probably aren't legal on this island. So I'm going to cut the video short here. And just remember, YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Rasher O'Reilly at Rasher's Rants. Just trucking on into the future with babble, banter, and content. And look, always comment. Tell me what you think. If I'm gone off the rails or off the reservation, let me know. I'll steer this ship. You know. Excuse me. Off ship direct. Even with that tiny amount of salt, I'm getting that. I think I may have a mild arrhythmia, but it'll be all right. Pardon me. I did have a mild. I'm epileptic. I did have a mild seizure yesterday, and there was fallout from that. But I digress. I'm still alive, and that is the main thing. And for everybody watching this, thank you for sticking with the channel. I noticed in the last couple of days, my humble little modest channel got some new subscriptions, and I'm very grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining the party. Long may it last. And yeah, like anything you want to see, just send me suggestions, ideas. You know, if you think I'm shit, tell me. I can take it. I've got a thick skin. You know, I've been homeless for almost 12 years. I mean, it's been going on for 12 years, but for 2 of them I was housed. But semantics, you know yourself. Anyway, big shout out to everybody that I love that's actually managed to still be alive. And big shout out to all those who haven't. Yeah, I really want to say another message to another person, but I've been asked to, yeah, not to spit their name, so I won't. But all I can say is I love you, babe, and yeah, you're my universe. Anyway, thank you, YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Rasher O'Reilly at Rasher's Rants. I know my eyes are barely open now, but I just don't give a fuck.